Hi guys, so the weather's looking pretty good for the weekend if you're down south, so now's the perfect time to get outside and get on with some jobs for the weekend. So this is my horseradish bed, and as you can see it's looking pretty ropey, so I'm going to remove the leaves, expose the crown, and I like with a lot of the winter root crops, after a good frost it either sweetens it, or with horseradish it will give it a really good kick. So if you want a really hot horseradish after your frosts, it will be the perfect time to harvest it and make your horseradish sauce just in time for Christmas. So these are some of my crops that I grew 2-3 months ago. So you've got your lettuce, spinach, beet leaf, and I've got a bit of spicy mix at the end, but obviously they're not a winter hardy crop, so all I'm going to do is put some wire hoops over the top and cover it with a bit of Enviromesh, or if you guys have got any fleece at home you can either just lay it over the top if you don't have your hoops, and that will just keep the frost off of it, because it will just start knocking it back and the leaves won't taste as good and they'll go horrible and mushy. So extend the cropping if you have got any salad leaves, and they should see you through for a little bit longer before the heavy winter hits in. All your kales will now start to be coming into their own. Obviously these plants, like a lot of winter root crops, they like a good frosting, and that also intensifies the flavour, so make great use of your kales and enjoy those lovely winter hearty foods. So this is my rhubarb bed, and as you most probably see I have removed all of the leaves and any of the dead decaying leaves, and that's just made it look nice and neat for the winter months and ready to rock and roll for the cloches to go on in January, February to get some nice forced rhubarb. So if any of you guys at home have been growing your herbs, now's the perfect time, if you want to, is to cut up bunches of your rosemary, sage, I've got bay leaf trees behind me, and try and dry them. So when it's a really cold winter's day and you don't really want to go outside and you've got your lovely roast done in the oven, then at least you've got some nice dried herbs to see you through. This is the last of my beetroot crop. If you've got any crops in the ground like your carrots, beetroot, celeriac, now is the perfect time to start digging it up and sand storing it. I've done another YouTube video on sand storage, so catch that one, because otherwise with more of these hard frosts that come we're going to start losing crops. So make sure you store your crops and then that'll keep you going. If you've got a glass house or a polytunnel, and on beautiful sunny days like today, make sure you open all the doors and the windows to give it a really good vent through, because the last thing you want is too much carbon dioxide building up inside the glass houses, and also the humidity increases. So keep it nice and dry and nice and airy, and everything will be tickety-boo. If you guys are growing your lovely Brussels sprouts for Christmas, make sure that you remove all of these lower leaves to the top part of the crown up here, and remove any of your Brussels sprouts that have, I basically call it flowering, where they sort of explode on you and create almost like a flower effect, because you don't want that. So remove any unwanted Brussels sprouts. Make sure that you remove them from the bottom up to the top, that makes them produce better. And make sure you keep an eye on the the white fly. It does become a bit of a problem. These ones have been neglected this year, so they're not looking at their best, but there's quite a few of them. After removing all of the leaves off of your Brussels sprouts, they should look like this. So this is the result of whitefly. As you can see, they're all just having a great time, little party going on in there. Now with the whitefly, there are a couple of ways that you can eliminate them or try and slow them down so your plant doesn't get hammered too much and you get the best out of your crop. Now if you go inorganic, you can pick up Provado, which obviously will kill whitefly and blackfly, greenfly, caterpillars, but obviously it's not environmentally friendly. It is very much a last resort for a lot of people, especially if you're organic. I stay well clear of this, but obviously the guys use it in the garden, so I've used this as a demonstration. Always read the back of the labels, make sure you wear your PPE, like appropriate clothing to go with that, and make sure if you do use it and it's disposed of correctly, and like I say, the correct amount of applications to the plant are followed, because you don't want to be spraying it too many times and then obviously, you know, you pick up the nasties from what is being sprayed. And I know there is a certain time from spraying to cropping time. So the SB Plant Invigorator is my best friend in the veg garden. It's 100% organic, For me, that is massively important, so I'm not ruining the ecology of the garden. Also as well, I've got my chickens, which are actually scratching around after I've just removed the leaves from the brassicas, because there'll be lots of bugs. So, you know, we're all working with each other to try and create this lovely sort of eco-friendly environment for man and animals, insects and whatever else. So, you know, organic to me is very, very important. And although the SB Plant Invigorator is very expensive, it is something that I will highly, highly recommend. So although winter is creeping in slowly and we're starting to get those lovely cold nights, which is absolutely fantastic for the ground, good bit of frosting which helps everybody out, especially in the garden, keeps all of those bugs under control so we don't have too many infestations for next year. It's really, really important that you plan for your next year, and now is the perfect time where you can actually take a little bit of time out, sit down with a nice cup of tea, do your seed orders, work out what you want to grow, do your crop rotation to make sure you're not growing your crops in the same place year on, year out. And just getting all of those really fiddly jobs that you just do not have time for in those summer months. So make the most of this winter and crack on with all of those jobs that you really need to do, that you put off because there's always so many more important things to be doing, especially, like I say, during the summer months. And you'll be up, ready, rocking and rolling for spring next year.